Ralph Goosen. Thesis title, Logos Gnosios, as a prophetic speech act, a theological and biblical evaluation of the gift of the word of knowledge. Word of knowledge, Logos Gnosios. So if you want to know anything about that gift, Dr. Hugh Goosen is your man.
Shortly after having finished my master's research, I had ambitions to do a PhD. And before landing on my final topic, I explored two different possible areas of research. And each of those took me approximately a year worth of research to try and see whether that topic was feasible or not. And so I went through a process where I went through 2 years of study before I'd even gotten to the point where I arrived at a topic that was worth doing. And so it really was a 3-year journey ahead of enrollment into the PhD before I was even able to start. And I remember the initial process ahead of coming to SATS and having put together probably 8 or 9 iterations of a research proposal and never quite managing to get that research proposal to a point where it was really at the right academic level, to a level where it would meet all of the necessary academic criteria. And so when I came to SATS, one of the things that really helped me and appealed to me about doing a PhD through SATS was phase 1. And so in phase 1, you work on your research concept. You come to the institution with an idea of what you want to research. And what SATS does is they take your research idea and they see which of the theological sub-disciplines it's most suited to. And they help you to formulate a draft research concept. And having done that, you're then assigned a research supervisor in phase 2 who helps you to flesh out that research concept into a fully fledged research proposal. And that for me was really, really helpful. I don't think that I would have been able to get to that point if it wasn't for that initial help that SATS provided. And it's not just because I work for SATS. I can honestly say that it is some of the best support that I think you would receive in a PhD anywhere in the world. And so in phase 2, I worked with my research supervisor, fleshed out the idea, and submitted my research proposal to the research committee. And they came back and told me it wasn't quite good enough. I needed to make some tweaks. And of course I did that and made it through the research committee in my second attempt. And I think that that's a very important thing as well. And what sets SATS apart from some other institutions is that you have a board of academic people who look at your research concept and they scrutinize it. So by the time you get through phase 2, you have basically the approval and the support of a range of scholars, not just from phase 1 where you've worked with the people up front, but your supervisor and then an actual research committee who feel that what you're wanting to do meets the necessary academic standards. And so they set you up for success. You don't just approach the PhD journey writing and hoping for the best at the end. You really are helped to get that proposal to a point where it would really be well accepted anywhere in the world. Phase 3 is the first part of the writing journey. Phase 4 is the second part of the writing journey. And then we get to phase 5, which from our vantage point is once again unique because upon submission of the final thesis, we have at SATS an internal review process where one of the SATS academics has a look at your final project and makes recommendations for change and improvement. Remember, you've already passed the research committee up front, and so it's not as though there are major changes that need to be made. It's just a final polishing of the product before it goes for external. But in doing so, SATS has positioned that PhD student for success. so that when your PhD goes for external review, you have the best possible chance of success. And so I was happy to find that my external examiners were very happy with the work, and I had very little to do after that before a final submission. And so went through the initial processes of assessment with the PhD thesis itself, and then went through the process of writing an article which was a distillation of the thesis, a summary of sorts, and that helped me to really just summarize my thinking, summarize what had been done through this entire journey, and to prepare for the oral defense. For me, it was an extremely stressful event, but thankfully at SATS, I was really encouraged and supported and had everything that I needed to succeed in the PhD. And so if you're contemplating a PhD at SATS, I would highly recommend it, not just because of the fact that I work for the institution, but because it really is a PhD journey second to none, and you will get the support you need to be successful in the end.